Hi everybody, Tennis Coach Robert here with CarlboTennis.com. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about the grip and the ready position and what I do with my grips. So a few videos back I talked about how I have different grips for my forehands, several different depending on the height of the ball. And today I'm going to expand a little bit more about that and tell you what I do when I'm in the ready position and shift the grip back and forth, okay? I'd like to thank the North Pinellas YMCA for allowing us to film here, and I'd like to thank all of you guys who subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and spreading out the word. Thank you so much, and let's go ahead and talk about the grip. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this racket and put it on edge like this. All right, so the racket is straight up and down like this, and we're going to talk about the racket shifting a little bit, so 45 degrees or so. So we're going to move the racket this way and this way. Okay, so we have the racket here. I'm going to shift it this way and this way. But the primary way I'm going to do it is this way. All right, so I'm in my ready position here. I'm going to have the racket straight in front of me like this. And I'm going to just take my hand and slide it down, something like a Eastern forehand grip. And I'm going to go ahead and shift it this way. All right, and when I'm shifting it, I'm going to keep my hand still. So I'm going to hold my hand like in this position here so you can see it. And I'm just going to shift the racket with my left hand. So I'm going to shift it with my left hand while this is here. So I'm going to take this, hold the racket with 2 fingers here so you can see it, and shift it. Okay, I don't want to bend my wrist when I'm doing this. So I don't want to hold the racket and bend my wrist. That's not what I'm looking for. I want my hand to be neutral and just shift it using my left hand. Okay, so now I hold it very, very loosely in my hand and I shift it. I turn it this way. When I shift it this way, my hand is going to move to the next bevel. So I have we'll talk about the grips. You guys can see that video. I'm going to shift it over this way, and this should allow me to get into the continental grip. So I go here from the Eastern forehand to the continental. If I shift it the other way, this would get me into the semi-Western grip, okay? So the reason we went this way is because some of you are going to use the semi-Western grip for your forehand or the Eastern forehand, and then we have the continental this way. And of course, we move it one step further this way with the bevel on top. That's your one-handed backhand. So every time I get into the neutral position, my ready position, I start off in the continental grip. So I have the continental grip, and the continental grip is for my slice shots. So those are my defensive shots. They are for the serve and my volleys, as well as my approach shots. So I'm going to use these grips quite frequently when I'm playing. So as the grip that I'm going to use the most as a tennis player is actually going to be the continental grip. And I've done many clinics and worked around with many players, and we have this situation where players get stuck in one grip and they can't shift it. So they have either the Eastern forehand or semi-Western, and they're using it and they have a difficult time shifting. So if we get in the habit of shifting all the time, getting to the volley grip and serve grip and so on isn't going to feel so out of place. So I start off here in the ready position, and I have the continental grip. So I have, let's say I'm returning a serve, I wait in the continental grip. If the ball comes to me very quickly, take the racket back, slice it back in place for the forehand or the backhand. So I start off there. Now, once I'm in the continental grip, if I notice I have time, then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn my racket. Okay, so I make a shift, racket back, okay, turn, racket back down, adjust my feet, load, plant, hit. So the thing that I want you to focus on is just the shift. Okay, so shift, hit, and then back to the shift, back to the continental, turn, and then back to the continental. So I get used to going to the continental in my ready position. Hit my approach shot, get into my ready position to the continental so I can volley and be ready for the next shot. So we want to go ahead and practice this every single time we're in the ready position, get to the continental, and then as we go ahead and take the racket back, we make that shift. Okay, we turn to this turn for the forehand, and after we're done hitting the ball, we turn back. Okay, so we're ready these defensive shots. So go ahead, ready position, okay, with the continental grip, shift it, racket back, hit, swing, back to the ready position. using the Continental. So I'm shifting back and forth. We can practice this by just having the racket forward and backwards, okay? If I wanted to go ahead and go to the semi-western, I would shift it even more here. Go ahead and hit it, semi-western, shift it back, okay? I'm going to then go ahead and go to my backhand, turn it back the other way for my one-handed backhand. And the reason it's very good to get back into the Continental grip is when we talk about the backhand, the two-handed backhand, if I get comfortable using my Continental, using my left hand as my Continental grip, and then sliding down and using an Eastern forehand for my backhand drive, then it's very easy for me to just have the Continental and slice and quickly just shift it down for the backhand drive. So it doesn't cause more problems, okay? The only time we may have a little bit of problems sometimes might be for some of the ladies who are more comfortable with an Eastern forehand and an Eastern forehand right, Eastern forehand left, because it shifts a little bit, so it's a little bit of an uncomfortable situation. And I'll talk about that in another video. But if we have the Continental and we have a regular Eastern forehand on the backhand, I can swing, sorry, on my left hand, I can swing and hit a two-handed shot, and I can easily just slice it, and then I go ahead and shift it over for my forehand, and then I shift it back and shift it back. So every time you're in the ready position, and this will get you comfortable going back and forth and finding that grip. So in a previous video, I talked how my grip shifts for my forehand depending on if I'm hitting a high ball, a low ball, it's going to shift depending. The more I shift back and forth, the more comfortable I'm going to get in these shots, forehands, the volleys, the low balls, and so on. And I can shift and adjust my hitting based on the particular shot that I'm hitting. So I really want you guys to work on shifting back and forth every time. Get comfortable with it. The shift happens with the left hand, okay? So we want to make sure we're shifting with the left and not shifting with the right, because then we're using the wrist. We don't want to use the wrist. We want to be very neutral. So if in this position here, just shifting, the hand is loose, all right? I hope you found this video useful and helpful. I appreciate you taking the time to look at it. And stay loose with your hand. Okay, one of the important things, just stay loose and shift back and forth. And it's going to help you with your game so that you're able to use different shots. So every time you hit that ball, get back into the Continental grip, shift it back quarter to this way. And then when you're ready for your forehand, shift it the other way. And the more you do that, the more comfortable you're going to get. You can have different types of shots and be comfortable shifting back and forth. Again, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing, sharing the words. And again, I'd like to thank the North Pinellas YMCA for allowing us to film here. Thank you.
For more information on Carlbo Tennis, visit www.carlbotennis.com. If you wish to email Coach Robert, please do so at robert@carlbotennis.com or visit his Facebook page at www.facebook.com/carlbotennis. Tennis for the people. This video was an ADCI LLC production and was filmed at the North Pinellas YMCA located in Palm Harbor, Florida.